The massive alien warship loomed over Earth, casting an ominous shadow across the planet's surface. Its sleek, obsidian hull absorbed all light, creating a void in the sky that struck fear into the hearts of billions. Humanity held its collective breath, awaiting first contact with a mixture of terror and awe. In the White House Situation Room, President Amelia Chen stood surrounded by her top advisors, her face a mask of determination. "What's our status?" she demanded, her voice steadied despite the weight of the moment. General Marcus Stone, a towering figure with steely gray eyes, stepped forward. "Madam President, our military forces are on high alert, but we're vastly outgunned. That ship up there, it's like nothing we've ever seen. Our most advanced weapon systems might as well be slingshots against it." Dr. Samira Patel, the lead xenobiologist, interjected. "We need to approach this cautiously. We don't know their intentions. They could be peaceful." A blinding flash of light cut her off as the alien ship's transmission filled every screen in the room. The image that appeared sent a chill through everyone present. The aliens, calling themselves the Zoraxians, were a sight to behold. Towering beings with iridescent scales and multiple arms, their faces were a nightmare of sharp angles and glowing eyes. The alien leader, introducing himself as High Commander Vexthor, spoke in a voice that seemed to reverberate through their very bones. "Humans of Earth," he began, his tone dripping with disdain, "your planet has been chosen for assimilation into the Zoraxian Empire. Resistance is futile. Surrender now, and we may allow some of you to serve as our vassals. Refuse, and face annihilation." The room erupted into chaos as advisors shouted over each other, fear and anger battling for dominance. President Chen raised her hand, silencing the room with a single gesture. She stepped forward, her eyes blazing with defiance. "High Commander Vexthor," she began, her voice unwavering, "I am President Amelia Chen, leader of the United Earth Coalition. We hear your demands, but I'm afraid we must respectfully decline. Earth is our home, and we will not surrender it or our freedom. We extend an invitation for peaceful dialogue, but know this: if you choose the path of aggression, you will find that humanity is not so easily conquered." Vexthor's laughter filled the room, a sound like grinding metal that set everyone's teeth on edge. "Foolish humans, your bravery is admirable, but misplaced. You have one Earth rotation to reconsider. After that, we will show you the true meaning of power." As the transmission cut off, President Chen turned to her team. "We need options, people. I refuse to believe that with all our ingenuity, all our spirit, we can't find a way to defend our home." Dr. Patel stepped forward, her eyes bright with an idea. "Madam President, I think I might have something. It's experimental, but it could be our best shot." "I'm all ears, Doctor," Chen replied. "We've been working on a project, Project Nexus. It's a neural interface that allows for unprecedented levels of human-machine integration. With it, a skilled pilot could potentially outmaneuver even the most advanced alien technology." General Stone scoffed. "A video game controller won't save us from annihilation, Doctor." Dr. Patel's eyes flashed. "It's far more than that, General. This interface doesn't just control a machine. It becomes an extension of the human mind. Reaction times are instantaneous. The potential is limitless." President Chen considered this for a moment. "How soon can it be ready?" "We have a prototype, but we need a pilot, someone with exceptional mental acuity and physical reflexes, and we'll need to adapt it to our best fighter jet in less than 24 hours. Chen nodded. "Do it, General Stone. Find us the best pilot we have. We're going to show these aliens that humanity isn't to be underestimated." As the room burst into action, a young lieutenant burst in. "Madam President, we're detecting multiple smaller craft leaving the mothership. They're heading for major cities worldwide." Chen's face hardened. "Looks like they're not waiting for our answer. General, deploy our forces. We need to protect our people while Dr. Patel's team works on Project Nexus." As alarms blared and the world braced for impact, humanity faced its greatest challenge. The Zoraxian ships descended upon Earth's cities, their weapons blazing with otherworldly energy. But in labs and hangars around the world, humans worked tirelessly, their determination fueled by the need to protect their home. In a secret facility deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, Dr. Patel and her team worked feverishly to adapt Project Nexus to an F-35 Lightning II, pushing the boundaries of both human and machine. Meanwhile, in a heavily guarded bunker, Captain Jake Harper, the Air Force's most decorated pilot, prepared himself for the mission of a lifetime. As the first day of the invasion drew to a close, Earth's cities burned and millions huddled in fear. But in the hearts of those fighting back, a flame of hope burned bright. Humanity had faced extinction before, from ice ages to plagues to their own destructive nature. Each time, they had emerged stronger, more resilient. Now, faced with an alien force that sought to strip them of their freedom, their very identity, humanity prepared to show the universe what they were truly capable of. The Zoraxians thought they had found an easy conquest, a primitive species ripe for subjugation. They were about to learn just how wrong they were. The human spirit. As dawn broke over a world forever changed, humanity's resistance began in earnest. The Zoraxian invasion had left major cities in ruins, but the human spirit remained unbroken. In underground bunkers and hidden facilities across the globe, scientists, soldiers, and civilians worked tirelessly to mount a defense against their alien oppressors. At the heart of this resistance was Project Nexus. In a secret lab nestled deep within the Rocky Mountains, Dr. Samira Patel and her team pushed themselves to the limit, fueled by a mixture of caffeine and sheer determination. The neural interface prototype, once a mere concept, was rapidly becoming humanity's best hope for survival. "How's it coming, Dr. Patel?" President Chen's voice crackled through the secure communication line, tension evident even through the static. Samira wiped sweat from her brow, her eyes never leaving the complex web of circuitry before her. "We're making progress, Madam President. The neural interface is stable, but integrating it with the F-35 systems is proving challenging. You have to find a way, Doctor. The Zoraxians are pushing further inland every hour. We're running out of time." As if to emphasize the president's words, a distant explosion shook the facility, causing dust to rain down from the ceiling. Samira closed her eyes for a moment, centering herself. "Understood, Madam President. We won't let you down." Meanwhile, in a heavily fortified bunker thousands of miles away, Captain Jake Harper prepared for the most important mission of his life. The young pilot had always dreamed of pushing the boundaries of flight, but he never imagined it would be under these circumstances. Jake stood before a mirror, studying his reflection. His usually confident demeanor was tempered by the weight of responsibility on his shoulders. He thought of his family, his friends, all the people counting on him. Failure wasn't an option. A knock at the door pulled him from his thoughts. "Captain Harper, it's time for your final briefing." Jake took a deep breath, squaring his shoulders. "I'm ready." In the briefing room, General Stone waited, his face a mask of grim determination. "Captain, I won't sugarcoat this. What we're asking you to do is nothing short of miraculous. The Nexus interface is untested in combat, and you'll be going up against technology far beyond our current understanding." Jake nodded, his jaw set. "I understand, sir. Whatever it takes to protect our home." The general's expression softened slightly. "Your courage does you credit, sir. Now, let's go over the mission parameters one last time." As they delved into the details of the operation, the stakes became clearer than ever. Jake would be piloting the Nexus-enhanced F-35 in a daring strike against the Zoraxian mothership. The goal was to exploit a potential weakness in their defenses, a vulnerability that Earth's best minds had been working around the clock to identify. While Jake prepared for his mission, resistance cells around the world sprang into action. In the ruins of London, a group of hackers led by the brilliant but eccentric Zhou Chen no relation to the president, worked tirelessly to breach Zoraxian communications. Their goal was to provide Jake with real-time intelligence during his flight. "Come on, you scaly bastards," Zoe muttered, her fingers flying across her keyboard. "Show me your secrets." In the depths of the Amazon rainforest, an unlikely alliance formed between indigenous tribes and stranded military personnel. Led by Sergeant Maria Flores, they waged a guerrilla war against Zoraxian ground forces, using their intimate knowledge of the terrain to outmaneuver the aliens. Maria crouched in the underbrush, her face streaked with mud for camouflage. She watched as a Zoraxian patrol passed by, their alien forms a stark contrast to the lush greenery. "Not in our forest," she whispered, signaling her team to prepare for an ambush. Back in the Rocky Mountain facility, Dr. Patel's team faced a critical moment. The neural interface was ready, but there was no time for extensive testing. As they prepared to integrate it with the F-35, Samira felt the full weight of her responsibility. "This has to work," she said, more to herself than to her team. "The entire human race is counting on us." Her second-in-command, Dr. Alex Chen, placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "If anyone can make this work, it's you, Samira. We believe in you." With a nod of determination, Samira began the integration process. Hours ticked by, each moment filled with tense concentration. Finally, as the first light of dawn began to creep over the mountain peaks, a cheer erupted in the lab. "We did it," Samira exclaimed, tears of joy and exhaustion streaming down her face. The Nexus interface is online and fully integrated with the F-35. The news spread quickly, igniting a spark of hope in resistance cells around the world. For the first time since the invasion began, humanity dared to believe they had a fighting chance. As Captain Jake Harper was flown to the secret airbase where the Nexus-enhanced F-35 waited, President Chen addressed the nations of the world. Her voice, broadcast on every available frequency, carried a message of unity and defiance. "People of Earth, we stand at the precipice of our greatest challenge. The Zoraxian invaders thought they could break us, that we would crumble in the face of their advanced technology. But they underestimated the human spirit. In every corner of the globe, we have resisted, we have fought, and now we prepare to take the fight to them." Her words reached the hearts of millions, from the rubble-strewn streets of Tokyo to the underground shelters of New York. Humanity, battered but unbroken, rallied behind her call to action. As Jake laid eyes on the Nexus-enhanced F-35 for the first time, its sleek form gleaming under the hangar lights, he felt a surge of pride and determination. This wasn't just a machine. It was the culmination of human ingenuity and resilience, a symbol of hope in their darkest hour. Climbing into the cockpit, Jake prepared to interface with the Nexus system. As the neural link activated, he felt a rush unlike anything he'd experienced before. The line between man and machine blurred, the F-35 becoming an extension of his own body and mind. "Nexus interface stable," Jake reported, his voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through his veins. "I can feel every system, every control. It's incredible." General Stone's voice came through the comm system, filled with a mixture of hope and urgency. "Godspeed, Captain Harper. The hopes of humanity fly with you today." As the hangar doors opened, revealing the war-torn sky beyond, Jake took a deep breath. The Zoraxian mothership loomed in the distance, a dark reminder of the challenge that lay ahead. But as he prepared for takeoff, Jake felt no fear. He was humanity's best hope, the tip of the spear in their fight for survival. With a thought, the F-35's engines roared to life. Jake Harper, man and machine united, soared into the sky, ready to show the Zoraxians that humanity would not go quietly into the night. The battle for Earth was about to begin. David versus Goliath. The Nexus-enhanced F-35, piloted by Captain Jake Harper, streaked across the war-torn sky, a silver arrow against the looming darkness of the Zoraxian mothership. Inside the cockpit, Jake marveled at the seamless integration between his mind and the aircraft. Every minute adjustment, every tactical decision happened at the speed of thought. "Control, this is Harper. Approaching the mothership's defensive perimeter," Jake reported, his voice calm despite the gravity of the situation. "Copy that, Harper," General Stone's voice crackled through the comm. "Remember, our intel on their defenses is limited. Stay alert." As if on cue, the sky around Jake erupted with alien energy weapons. Streams of purple plasma crisscrossed the air, creating a deadly lattice of destruction. But where a normal pilot might have faltered, Jake and the Nexus interface shone. With reflexes beyond human capability, Jake wove through the barrage, the F-35 dancing between plasma bolts with millimeter precision. Each maneuver was a work of art, a perfect fusion of human intuition and machine precision. "My God," breathed Dr. Patel, watching the telemetry from the Rocky Mountain facility. "The neural interface is performing beyond our wildest expectations. He's actually doing it." Back in the cockpit, Jake allowed himself a small smile. "These Zoraxian boys aren't half bad," he quipped, barrel rolling around a particularly nasty burst of plasma. "But they've never seen anything like this." As Jake approached the mothership, the true scale of the alien vessel became apparent. It dwarfed anything humanity had ever constructed. A city-sized leviathan of gleaming black metal. But size wasn't everything, and Jake was determined to prove it. "Control, I'm detecting some kind of energy fluctuation near what looks like a hangar bay," Jake reported. "Could be our way in." "Confirmed, Harper," came the reply. "Our analysts agree. That's your target. Get in there and show these aliens what humanity is made of." Jake's response was to punch the throttle, pushing the F-35 to speeds that would have torn a lesser aircraft apart. He streaked towards the hangar bay, a human David facing an alien Goliath. Meanwhile, on the ground, the resistance continued to fight. In the ruins of Paris, a group of civilians turned fighters led by former chef turned resistance leader, Jean-Luc Bouchard, staged a daring raid on a Zoraxian supply depot. "Remember," Jean-Luc told his Ragdig team, "we're not just fighting for ourselves. We're fighting for Jake, for everyone risking their lives to end this war. Allons!" With a fierce cry, the Parisian resistance struck, their homemade weapons and stolen alien tech blazing in the shadow of the Eiffel Tower. Back in space, Jake faced his greatest challenge yet. The hangar bay was heavily shielded, a rippling energy barrier blocking his path. "Control, I can't breach the shield," he reported, frustration edging his voice. In London, Zhou Chen and her team of hackers redoubled their efforts. Come on, Zhou muttered, her fingers flying across her keyboard. "There's got to be a way to." "Wait, I've got something." Her triumphant shout echoed through their underground base. "Jake, the shield oscillates on a predictable frequency. There's a split-second vulnerability every 2.7 seconds. If you time it right, you can slip through." Jake absorbed the information, the Nexus interface translating Zhou's data into a real-time heads-up display. He watched the shield pulse, waiting for the perfect moment. "Here goes nothing," Jake murmured. Then, with precision that would have been impossible without the Nexus interface, he shot forward. For a heart-stopping moment, it seemed as if the F-35 would slam into the unyielding shield. But at the last possible instant, Jake slipped through, the shield rippling around him like water. A cheer went up from resistance cells around the world as they watched Jake's impossible maneuver. In the Rocky Mountain facility, Dr. Patel allowed herself a moment of pure joy. He did it. He's inside. But Jake's battle was far from over. As he entered the cavernous hangar bay, he found himself face to face with squadrons of Zoraxian fighters, their alien designs a stark contrast to his earthborn craft. "Looks like the welcoming committee is here," Jake quipped, his hands and mind working in perfect harmony as he prepared for the fight of his life. "Let's show them some good old-fashioned human hospitality." What followed was a dogfight unlike any in human history. Jake's Nexus-enhanced F-35 danced through the alien hangar, outmaneuvering craft that should have been technologically superior in every way. Each impossible turn, each perfect shot, was a testament to human ingenuity and determination. Xeraxian fighters fell one by one, unable to match Jake's incredible Neuralink-enhanced reflexes, but the aliens learned quickly, adapting their tactics, pressing Jake to his limits. "There's too many of them," Jake grunted, sweat beading on his brow as he corkscrewed around a barrage of alien weaponry. "I need to find a way to even the odds." As if in answer to his plea, a familiar voice crackled through his comm. "Captain Harper, this is Surgeon Flores. My team has infiltrated the mothership through a lower access point. We're headed towards what looks like a power distribution node. Give us 2 minutes, and we'll give you a distraction." Jake grinned, barrel rolling around another fighter. "Music to my ears, Sergeant. I'll keep these boys busy until then." For 2 heart-pounding minutes, Jake pushed himself and the Nexus interface to their absolute limits. The hangar bay became a symphony of destruction, alien metal twisting and burning under Jake's relentless assault. Then, just as Jake's luck seemed about to run out, the entire ship shuddered. Lights flickered, and for a brief moment, the Xeraxian fighters faltered. "That's our cue, people," Jake shouted, seizing the moment. With the Xeraxians in disarray, he shot deeper into the mothership, leaving chaos in his wake. As Jake flew further into the heart of the alien vessel, he couldn't help but feel a surge of pride. This wasn't just his victory. It was a victory for all of humanity, for the scientists who had created the Nexus interface, for the resistance fighters on the ground, for every human who had refused to give up hope. The true test still lay ahead, but in that moment, flying through the halls of humanity's would-be conquerors, Jake Harper felt invincible. The Xeraxians had made a grave mistake in underestimating the human spirit, and he was about to make them pay for it. The heart of the beast. As Captain Jake Harper navigated the labyrinthine interior of the Xeraxian mothership, the true scale of the alien vessel became apparent. Vast corridors stretched out before him, large enough to accommodate his F-35 with room to spare. The walls pulsed with an eerie bioluminescent light, casting everything in an otherworldly glow. "Control, are you seeing this?" Jake whispered, his voice filled with awe despite the dire circumstances. "We're getting the feed, Captain," Dr. Patel's voice came through, tense with excitement. "The architecture is unlike anything we've ever seen. It's as if the ship is alive." Jake's wonderment was short-lived as a new wave of Xeraxian defenders converged on his position. Unlike the fighters he'd faced in the hangar bay, these were smaller, more agile craft, clearly designed for internal defense. "Looks like the welcoming committee's here for round 2, Jake quipped, his hands and mind working in perfect sync as he prepared for another brutal dogfight. What followed was a chase sequence that defied belief. Jake's F-35, guided by the Nexus interface and his own incredible skill, wove through twisting corridors and vast chambers, outmaneuvering aliens on their home turf. The mothership became a twisted arena, alien architecture bearing witness to a display of piloting prowess never before seen in the galaxy. "Jake, we're picking up a massive energy signature deeper in the ship." Zoe's voice crackled through the comm. "It could be their main power core. If you can reach it." "I'm on it," Jake confirmed, barrel rolling around a corner to avoid a barrage of alien fire. "Any ideas on how to take it out once I get there?" There was a moment of tense silence before Dr. Patel's voice came through. "The Nexus interface. It might be able to interface with their systems. If you can get close enough, we might be able to overload the core from within." It was a long shot, but it was the best plan they had. Jake set his jaw, determination burning in his eyes. "Roger that. I'm going in." As Jake fought his way deeper into the heart of the mothership, the resistance on Earth continued their valiant efforts. In the ruins of Tokyo, a young hacker named Hiroshi Tanaka worked feverishly to breach the Xeraxian communication networks, providing crucial intelligence to resistance cells worldwide. "Got you, you alien bastards," Hiroshi muttered, a grim smile spreading across his face as he cracked another layer of Zoraxian encryption. Meanwhile, in the skies above what was once New York City, a squadron of human pilots engaged in a desperate battle against Zoraxian fighters. They were outgunned and outnumbered, but they fought on, buying time for Jake's mission and protecting the civilians huddled in the ruins below. Squadron leader Maria Rodriguez gritted her teeth as she pulled her jet into a tight turn, barely avoiding a stream of alien energy weapons. "Come on, Harper," she growled. "We can't hold them off forever." Back in the mothership, Jake finally reached the massive chamber housing the Zoraxian power core. It was a sight to behold. A colossal sphere of swirling energy, pulsing with power that made the air itself feel charged. "I'm at the core," Jake reported, his voice filled with a mixture of awe and determination. Beginning approach for Nexus interface. As Jake maneuvered his F-35 closer to the core, alarms blared throughout the chamber. Zoraxian defenders poured in from every entrance, determined to protect their ship's heart. "Jake, you've got incoming from all directions," Zoe warned, her voice tense. "You need to buy time for the interface to work." What followed was the most intense battle of Jake's life. The Nexus interface pushed to its limits. Jake's F-35 became a blur of motion, weaving between alien craft and energy beams in a deadly dance. Each maneuver was a calculated risk, bringing him closer to the core while evading certain death. Come on," Jake muttered, sweat beading on his brow as he pushed himself and his craft beyond what should have been possible. In the Rocky Mountain facility, Dr. Patel and her team worked frantically, guiding the Nexus interface's attempts to breach the alien systems. "We're almost there," Samira called out, her fingers flying across her console. Just a few more seconds. The chamber had become a maelstrom of chaos. Explosions rocked the vast space as Jake's impossible maneuvers caused Zoraxian ships to collide with each other or slam into the chamber walls. Through it all, Jake kept his focus on the core, trusting in the Nexus interface and the brilliant minds back on Earth. Suddenly, a triumphant shout came through the comm. "We're in," Dr. Patel exclaimed. "Jake, the core's defenses are down. Take the shot." Without hesitation, Jake armed his last remaining missile. Time seemed to slow as he lined up the shot, the Nexus interface calculating the perfect trajectory. With a thought, he released the missile. The projectile streaked across the chamber, a final defiant act of human engineering against alien might. It struck the core dead center, burrowing deep before detonating. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, with a sound like reality itself tearing apart, the core began to implode. "Jake, get out of there now," General Stone's voice roared through the comm. Jake didn't need to be told twice. As the chamber began to collapse around him, he gunned the engines, pushing the F-35 to speeds that would have torn a normal aircraft apart. The Nexus interface worked overtime, calculating a path through the disintegrating ship. Behind him, a chain reaction was spreading through the mothership. Explosions rocked the massive vessel as system after system failed, the destruction spreading like a tsunami of fire and twisted metal. As Jake burst out of the mothership's hangar, the sight that greeted him took his breath away. The once mighty Zoraxian vessel was breaking apart, great chunks of alien metal tumbling through the atmosphere in a fiery display. "Control, this is Harper," Jake reported, his voice thick with emotion. "Mission accomplished. The mothership is down. I repeat, the mothership is down." The cheers that erupted over the comm system were deafening. In resistance cells around the world, in the secret mountain facility, in the White House Situation Room, humans everywhere celebrated this incredible victory. As Jake guided his battered F-35 back to Earth, he felt a profound sense of pride and humility. This victory belonged to all of humanity, to every scientist, soldier, and civilian who had refused to give up hope in the face of overwhelming odds. The war wasn't over. There would be more battles to fight, more challenges to overcome. But in this moment, as the burning remains of the Zoraxian mothership lit up the sky like a second sun, one thing was clear. Humanity had proven itself a force to be reckoned with in the galaxy. The Zoraxians, and any other alien race watching, had learned a valuable lesson. Never underestimate the human spirit. Aftermath and revelation. The days following the destruction of the Zoraxian mothership were a whirlwind of emotions for humanity. Celebration and relief mingled with grief for the losses suffered and anxiety about what might come next. As the dust settled, literally and figuratively, the world began to take stock of its new reality. Captain Jake Harper, hailed as a hero across the globe, found himself thrust into the spotlight. As he stood before a sea of reporters outside the White House, he felt almost as nervous as he had facing the alien armada. "I'm no hero," Jake insisted, his voice carrying across the assembled crowd. "I was just the guy in the cockpit. This victory belongs to all of us, to every scientist, soldier, and civilian who refused to give up hope. We won because we stood together." His words resonated with millions watching worldwide, a reminder of the unity that had seen them through their darkest hour. Behind the scenes, however, the work was far from over. In the Rocky Mountain facility, Dr. Samira Patel and her team worked tirelessly to unravel the secrets of Zoraxian technologies salvaged from the wreckage of the mothership. "This is incredible," Samira murmured, examining a piece of alien tech under a microscope. "Their technology isn't just advanced. It's fundamentally different from anything we've ever conceived." Her colleague, Dr. Alex Chen, nodded in agreement. "It's like comparing quantum computing to an abacus. We're not just behind. We're playing a completely different game." As they delved deeper into the alien technology, a troubling picture began to emerge. The Zoraxians, for all their apparent superiority, showed signs of stagnation. Their tech, while incredibly advanced, seemed to have plateaued. "Look at this," Samira said, pointing to a complex schematic. "They've refined this technology to an incredible degree, but there's no innovation. It's like they reached a peak and just stopped." This revelation shed new light on the Zoraxians' behavior, their aggression, their need for conquest. Was it driven by a desperate search for new ideas, new ways to progress? Meanwhile, in the rebuilt United Nations headquarters in Geneva, world leaders gathered to discuss humanity's next steps. The debate was heated, with some advocating for rapid militarization in preparation for future threats, while others pushed for a focus on rebuilding and technological advancement. President Amelia Chen took the podium, her presence commanding attention. "We stand at a crossroads," she began, her voice steady and resolute. "The Zoraxian invasion has shown us both our vulnerabilities and our strengths. We could choose to close ourselves off, to build walls and weapons in fear of what might come next, or we could choose to reach for the stars, to take our place in the galactic community." She paused, her gaze sweeping across the assembled leaders. "I propose we do both. We will rebuild, we will advance, and yes, we will defend ourselves. But more than that, we will explore. The Zoraxians came to conquer, but in doing so, they've opened our eyes to the vastness of the universe. It's time we stepped onto the galactic stage, not as conquerors, but as explorers and innovators." Her words sparked a new sense of purpose. Across the globe, resources were poured into ambitious new projects. The Nexus interface, which had proven so crucial in the battle against the Zoraxians, became the foundation for a new wave of human-machine integration. In orbit, construction began on humanity's first true space colony, a stepping stone to the stars. Named Phoenix, it stood as a symbol of humanity's resilience and determination to rise from the ashes of near destruction. But perhaps the most significant development came from an unexpected source. In the Amazon rainforest, where Sergeant Maria Flores and her team had waged their guerrilla war, something extraordinary was discovered. "Dr. Patel, you need to see this." Maria's voice crackled over the secure line, a mix of excitement and disbelief. We found some kind of alien artifact. It's not Soraxian. It's something else entirely. Within hours, Samira and her team were on site. What they found defied explanation. A small pyramid-shaped device of unknown origin, pulsing with an energy signature unlike anything they'd ever seen. As Samira approached the artifact, it suddenly sprang to life. A holographic display erupted from its apex, filling the jungle clearing with stars and alien script. It's a map, Samira breathed, her eyes wide with wonder. A map of the galaxy. And look, there are markers, hundreds of them, on different star systems. Alex studied the display, his brow furrowed in concentration. These symbols, they're not just markers. I think they're some kind of classification system, like a galactic index. As they continued to examine the artifact, the implications became clear. This wasn't just a map. It was an invitation to join a larger galactic community, one that the Zoraxians had either rejected or been excluded from. News of the discovery spread like wildfire. Across the world, people looked to the stars with new eyes, filled with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. The universe had just become a much larger, more complex place. In a secure bunker beneath the Pentagon, Jake Harper reviewed the data from the artifact, his mind racing with possibilities. The Nexus interface hummed in the background, a constant reminder of how far humanity had come and how far they still had to go. So, he said, turning to the assembled leaders and scientists, "What's our next move?" President Chen smiled, a glint of adventure in her eyes. "Isn't it obvious, Captain? We explore, we learn, we grow. The Zoraxians tried to conquer us, but in doing so, they've given us the greatest gift of all, a future among the stars." As the meeting adjourned, Jake found himself alone with Dr. Patel. "Do you think we're ready for this, Doc?" he asked, gesturing to the holographic galaxy map. Samira considered the question for a moment before answering. "Ready or not, it's where we're headed. The real question is the galaxy ready for us?" As they shared a knowing smile, both felt a sense of excitement for the adventures that lay ahead. Humanity had faced its greatest challenge and emerged stronger than ever. Now, they stood on the brink of a new era, one filled with endless possibilities and unknown dangers. The stars were calling, and humanity was ready to answer. A new frontier. In the months that followed the discovery of the alien artifact, Earth became a hive of activity. The promise of galactic exploration had ignited a fire in the hearts of people worldwide, spurring unprecedented cooperation and innovation. At the forefront of this new era stood the newly formed United Earth Space Agency, UESA, a global organization dedicated to advancing humanity's reach into the cosmos. Its headquarters, a gleaming tower of glass and steel rising from the rebuilt skyline of New York City, had become a symbol of humanity's resurgence and ambition. Inside the UESA Command Center, Captain Jake Harper stood before a holographic display of the Milky Way, the alien artifact's data overlaid in glowing points of light. Each point represented a potential alien civilization, a mystery waiting to be unraveled. "The Artemis is ready, Captain." General Stone's gruff voice broke through Jake's contemplation. "Are you sure you want to do this? You've more than earned your retirement." Jake turned to face the older man, a wry smile on his face. "With all due respect, sir, retirement would bore me to death. Besides, someone needs to test out Dr. Patel's latest toys." The toys in question were a suite of advanced technologies derived from both the Zoraxian salvage and the mysterious artifact. The Artemis, humanity's first true interstellar vessel, was a marvel of engineering that would have been impossible just a year ago. Dr. Samira Patel approached, her eyes alight with excitement. "The new Nexus interface is online, Jake. It's not just for flying anymore. With this, you'll be able to interface directly with alien technology, potentially even communicate telepathically with other species." Jake nodded, a mix of anticipation and nervousness churning in his stomach. Let's hope the aliens we meet are friendlier than the Zoraxians. As final preparations for the mission were made, similar scenes played out across the globe. In London, Zhou Chen and her team of hackers worked tirelessly to create adaptive algorithms capable of deciphering alien languages and technology. "If anything tries to hack us out there," Zhou muttered, her fingers flying across her keyboard, "they're in for a nasty surprise." In the Amazon, Sergeant Maria Flores, now Colonel, oversaw the construction of a massive array of sensors designed to scan the heavens for any sign of approaching threats. "Never again," she said firmly, watching as the final pieces were put into place. "We'll never be caught off guard again." The day of launch arrived with much fanfare. Millions gathered in cities around the world to watch the event on massive screens, while billions more tuned in from their homes. The Artemis stood on its launchpad, a sleek vessel that seemed to embody humanity's hopes and dreams. Inside the ship, Jake settled into the captain's chair, the Nexus interface humming to life around him. He felt the familiar rush as his mind merged with the ship's systems, but this time it was different. The Artemis wasn't just a vehicle, it was an extension of himself, a part of his very being. "Artemis, this is Mission Control." President Chen's voice came through, clear and strong. "You are go for launch. Godspeed, and remember, you carry the hopes of all humanity with you." Jake took a deep breath, his hand hovering over the launch controls. "Roger that. Mission Control. We won't let you down." With a thought, he initiated the launch sequence. The Artemis roared to life, its advanced engines pushing against the bonds of Earth's gravity. In a breathtaking display of power and grace, the ship rose into the sky, quickly becoming a bright star ascending into the heavens. As Earth fell away beneath them, Jake felt a profound sense of awe. They were embarking on a journey unlike any in human history, venturing into the unknown with hope and determination as their guides. The first leg of their journey would take them to Alpha Centauri, the nearest star system to Earth. It was a voyage that would have taken years with conventional technology, but with the Artemis's advanced propulsion, they would arrive in a matter of weeks. As they approached the heliopause, the boundary where the sun's influence gave way to interstellar space, Jake addressed his crew. "We stand on the brink of a new chapter in human history," he began, his voice carrying to every corner of the ship. "Out there lie wonders we can scarcely imagine, challenges we have yet to face, and perhaps friends we have yet to meet. We go forward not as conquerors, but as explorers and diplomats, carrying the best of humanity with us." He paused, looking at each crew member in turn. "The Zoraxians thought they could break us, but they only made us stronger. Now we'll show the galaxy what humanity is truly capable of, not through force, but through courage, ingenuity, and an unbreakable spirit." As his words faded, a cheer went up from the crew. They were ready, eager to face whatever the universe had in store for them. With a final glance back at the pale blue dot that was Earth, Jake gave the command. The Artemis's engines flared to life, and in a burst of light and energy, they crossed into interstellar space. Humanity's greatest adventure had begun. Whatever challenges lay ahead, whatever wonders or terrors the galaxy held, one thing was certain: humanity would face it all with the same determination and spirit that had seen them triumph over the Zoraxians. The stars had called, and humanity had answered. The galaxy would never be the same again. First Contact revisited. The Artemis glided through the vast emptiness of interstellar space, its advanced engines humming with power as it approached the Alpha Centauri system. Inside the ship, Captain Jake Harper and his crew worked tirelessly, each day bringing new discoveries and challenges. As they entered the system, the ship's sensors came alive with activity. "Captain," called out Lieutenant Sarah Chen, the ship's science officer and Zoe's younger sister, "I'm detecting an artificial structure in orbit around the second planet." Jake felt a surge of excitement and apprehension. "On screen," he ordered, his voice steady despite the gravity of the moment. The main view screen flickered to life, revealing a sight that took their breath away. A massive space station hung in orbit around a blue-green world, its design unlike anything they had ever seen. It was an elegant structure, all sweeping curves and shimmering surfaces that seemed to bend light itself. "It's beautiful," Dr. Patel whispered, her eyes wide with wonder. As the Artemis approached, a transmission suddenly cut through the silence of space. Strange, melodic tones filled the bridge, accompanied by a series of complex mathematical equations scrolling across their screens. "It's a first contact protocol," Jake realized, a smile spreading across his face. "They're reaching out to us." Using the advanced Nexus interface, Jake and his crew worked to decipher the alien message. Hours passed as they collaboratively pieced together a response, drawing on all of humanity's collective knowledge and creativity. Finally, with a deep breath, Jake sent their reply. A message of peace, curiosity, and hope for mutual understanding. For a tense moment, there was no response. Then suddenly, a new image appeared on the view screen. The aliens, calling themselves the Harmonians, were a sight to behold. Tall, graceful beings with iridescent skin and large, expressive eyes, they radiated an aura of wisdom and serenity. "Greetings, children of Earth," the alien leader spoke, its voice translated through the Nexus interface. "We have long awaited your arrival among the stars." As the conversation unfolded, the crew of the Artemis learned that the Harmonians were part of a vast galactic community, one that had been observing Earth for centuries. They had watched as humanity fought off the Zoraxian invasion, impressed by our resilience, ingenuity, and unity in the face of overwhelming odds. "You have proven yourselves worthy of joining our galactic family," the Harmonian leader explained. "The artifact you found was a test, one that many species fail. But you, humans, you saw it as an invitation rather than a threat. Your curiosity and your spirit have opened the doors to a universe of possibilities." Over the next few days, the crew of the Artemis were welcomed onto the Harmonian station. They exchanged knowledge, culture, and technology, each species marveling at the unique perspectives and abilities of the other. Jake couldn't help but reflect on the irony of the situation. "You know," he said to Dr. Patel as they watched Earth's scientists and Harmonian scholars excitedly discuss theoretical physics, "the Zoraxians invaded Earth thinking they'd find an easy conquest. Instead, they unleashed humanity's true potential." Samira nodded, a thoughtful expression on her face. "It's like the old saying goes, pressure creates diamonds. The invasion was our pressure, and look at us now, shining among the stars." As their time with the Harmonians came to an end, Jake prepared to address his crew and the waiting billions back on Earth. Standing before the communications array, he took a deep breath, feeling the weight of history on his shoulders. "People of Earth," he began, his voice carried across light years, "today marks a new chapter in human history. We have made peaceful first contact with an advanced alien civilization, the Harmonians. They have welcomed us into a galactic community beyond our wildest dreams." He paused, letting the magnitude of the moment sink in. "But this is just the beginning. The universe is vast, filled with wonders and challenges we have yet to imagine. Our victory over the Zoraxians was not just a triumph of military might, but a testament to the indomitable human spirit. As we step out into the cosmos, we carry with us the best of humanity. Our curiosity, our compassion, our unwavering determination to overcome any obstacle. We go forward not as conquerors, but as explorers, peacekeepers, and innovators. The Zoraxians thought they could break us. Instead, they unveiled our true strength. Now, the galaxy will know what humanity is truly capable of. We will face the unknown with courage, meet new civilizations with open minds and hearts, and work tirelessly to build a better future for all sentient beings. To the stars, humanity, our greatest adventure is just beginning." As Jake's words echoed across space and time, cheers erupted from every corner of the Earth, in homes, in public squares, in the rebuilt cities, and the most remote villages. Humans celebrated this monumental achievement. The Artemis began its journey back to Earth, but it was no longer alone. A delegation of Harmonians accompanied them, eager to establish formal diplomatic relations with humanity. And beyond Alpha Centauri, countless other worlds awaited, each promising new discoveries and challenges. The galaxy had underestimated humanity once, when the Zoraxians arrived thinking Earth would be an easy conquest. That mistake had unleashed humanity's true potential, catapulting us to the stars far sooner than anyone could have predicted. Now, as Earth prepared to take its place in the galactic community, one thing was certain. The universe would never be the same again. Humanity had arrived on the cosmic stage, bringing with them an unbreakable spirit, boundless creativity, and a determination to forge a better future for all. The alien bullies had learned their lesson, and now the stars themselves bore witness to humanity's ascension. Our greatest chapter had just begun.